Hello and welcome back to another Minecraft Dungeons video. In this video I've got a different version of my Eternal Knife melee build that I posted yesterday, but this version is a rolling melee version. So let's get right into it. So in my previous video I had the Eternal Knife, which has chance to gain souls or Soul Siphon. Got Void Strike Gilded, which means that it gets, I think, a 70% DPS boost. And I'll explain. I suppose I should explain this. It's very good because it's got Soul Siphon built in, which means if you pair it with ranged Anima Conduit, you have the healing from Leeching, but you've also got the consistency from Lifesteal. So that's why I think it is very powerful. This is a rolling version. So instead of Gravity, I've got Enigma Resonator for a 150% DPS boost, Guarding Strike for a 50% damage reduction, and Unchanting for a 100% boost against enchanted mobs, aka the hardest mobs in the game. Onto the armor, I've got a Titan Shroud with plus 50% souls gathered, 35% damage reduction, 20% weapon damage boost aura, and mine is gilded with Cooldown. I've got Chilling for 60% mob speed reduce, Potion Barrier for if it gets tough, and Acrobat to roll rather frequently. Onto the bow. This is the biggest boost to the overall build compared to the standard melee version. We've got a Nocturnal bow, which has Steal Speed built in, which is Tempo Theft for, I think, a 17% mob speed reduction and 17% movement speed aura. Mine's gilded with Anima Conduit, very important. And I've got Burst Bowstring, so that when I roll, I can apply gravity to mobs, so that I no longer have gravity on the melee, I now have it on the range, freeing up the slot for Soul Siphon, Enigma Resonator, sorry, and Weakening. So it's now got 40% damage reduction from Weakening on top and 50% damage increase compared to my standard build. So yeah, it is a lot more damage and a lot more damage reduction due to the rolling aspect. I'm using a Torment Quiver because it has wider AoE and it passes through mobs, so that I can hit multiple more mobs than just one per arrow. And yeah, that is it. It's also the reason I'm using Titan Shroud, because it boosts souls gathered even though I've got a soul weapon and a soul bow. That is why. So yeah, that is the build. Let's load into a level. We won't do a daily trial just to keep it fair. I think we did Archhaven last time, so I reckon it's only fair to do Pumpkin Pastures this time. So yeah, that is the build. If you liked this video, please let me know in the comments below. Like the video, of course, it helps me out a ton. Subscribe if you like content such as this. I have a lot more coming soon and a lot more older but good quality videos, and I've got my Discord server in the description below if you want to join that to talk to me personally, other people that are very knowledgeable of the game, and you can get lots of opinions on your build if you wanted that, and I might cover it as well. Without further ado, enjoy the gameplay, and yeah, I'll stop yapping now. So I'm sure you already noticed when I rolled here and there's a bunch of mobs here, they all compacted into one group. So if you were to use ranged gravity, you don't need to worry about having them stay in different places. It is just effectively as good as melee gravity without using up that enchant slot. Of course, this build doesn't have looting, so that 100% flat boost no longer happens, but that's just something you'd have to deal with. Yeah. You can also see all the mobs are applied with weakening. I'm pretty sure weakening plus guarding strike by itself is 70% damage reduction. And we've obviously got Ironhide Amulet and 35% damage reduction, so it's already a really high damage reduction build. I believe it's 88% or so, and almost 90. So if you wanted to use this build, you wanted to go more high damage, you could potentially use a Satchel of Elixir or a Gong of Weakening. That would also work. Yeah. Of course, this also has the potential to be a glue strike melee build, so you also have the potential to do that. If you wanted to, you could put weakening on the melee instead, and then void strike on the bow instead of weakening, and then you could run glue strike as well. If you haven't seen that, I suggest watching a previous video of mine using it. I have a lot of builds using it. I'll also explain it now. It's a bug, but what happens is you apply ranged void strike, and with either red numbers, consistent red numbers from either ambush or strength potions or melee weakening, the effect doesn't actually go away. So as you attack, it just keeps on growing and growing. That's why it's called glue strike. So yeah, that is why, and it's super powerful. If you haven't experienced it for yourself, and you just want to try and recreate it and see how powerful it is, grab out a corrupted beacon and attack the dummy in the camp with void strike, melee or ranged, and just attack and see as the numbers grow. It's the same thing. It's incredibly powerful. Yeah, so, but of course you don't have to, and I quite like it like this already, but if you wanted to, you would keep the damage reduction the same still, or actually you might not because the area is quite low, but yeah, if you wanted to do a glue strike build like that, you could probably use a Soul Scythe. I might actually do a build like that just to show you how to do it. Another way to use glue strike. But yeah, I probably won't have time to do a short daily trial or small part of it, but I reckon this build probably could be daily trial worthy, just because of how much damage reduction you already get and how much DPS you have. Because if you didn't already know, Soul Knives have really high DPS. I believe the Truth Seeker with Void Strike, and obviously the built-in Committed, is easily in the top 15%, top 15 weapons in the game for DPS, compared to other weapons with standard melee enchants. So it's really up there. Doing something like that would definitely be very, very worth it as well, I reckon. See that? I just tanked that Enchanted Creeper and he exploded and I did barely any damage. That's probably a good example of why I like melee gravity, because I just had 3 mobs there. I was in shadow form. If I had gravity, it would have grouped them up before I killed them, and so I would have been able to do 8 times damage with the shadow to all of them. But regardless, doesn't really matter. I think that's probably all the commentary I need to say. But yeah, I'll quit yapping. Also, a little side note, if you wanted to do a different variation of this build, you could also put cooldown shot over either weakening or gravity on your bow. I would probably suggest switching out weakening because gravity is really helpful. And then you could also switch out cooldown for something of your choosing. That's something you could do as well. I also think the choice of using, my choice of deciding to use Nocturnal bow was really helpful as well, because when they eventually do leave the gravity effect, they're super slow and still relatively in their group, which I find very helpful. But Bowl of Lost Souls could probably also be very helpful. I'm not sure if sorry, I just had to lock in for a second there. I'm not sure if multi-shot actually carries gravity, but it might also be helpful. That's also something to consider though. Yeah, see, this is where gravity is useful. If you're stuck like this and you're surrounded, you can keep them all in one group, and because it's got really high reach, they wouldn't be able to attack you, but as then I was being attacked from all sides, they were just in one group, they wouldn't have been able to attack me. Obviously that didn't matter now, but in a daily trial that could be very crucial. Because someone pointed out in the comments of my previous video that gravity didn't actually get utilized and that I should use Enigma Resonator instead, but I suppose that's a good example of why I did in that video. But yeah. So let me know in the comments if you appreciate this type of commentary during the video. Because if you want, I can quit yapping, but if you like the talking in between, let me know. Look at that, hit for 25 million. Alright, I know there's going to be a ton of mobs in this cave, so I'm going to get ready for this. It's going to be good. Oh Jesus, yeah, look at that. Oh Jesus. Also, as far as Torment Quiver goes for utility, it does actually do a good bit of damage, which is also quite helpful. Just to a bunch of mobs in the area. Just look how quickly I'm dicing through these raid captains. Without so many hits for millions and millions of damage.
You did it, and the villagers of the pumpkin pastures go on to fight another day.